an effort to make a rhetorical point, I referred to the World Series trophy in a disrespectful way. And I want to apologize for that. There's no excuse for it. I made a mistake. I was trying to make a point, but I should have made it in a more effective way. And again, I want to apologize for it.
That was MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred apologizing Tuesday for referring to the World Series trophy as a piece of metal during an interview Sunday morning with ESPN's Carl Ravitch. Meanwhile, the Astros cheating scandal continues to get strong reaction from across spring training, especially from Aaron Judge, who spoke yesterday.
I just don't think it holds any value. You cheated and you didn't earn it. That's how I feel. Is it wasn't earned. It wasn't earned the way of playing the game right and fighting till the end and knowing that we're competing, we're competitors, and the biggest thing about competition is laying it all out in the line, and whoever's the better player, better person, comes out on top. When you just lay it out there, and to know that another team had an advantage that nothing you can really guard against. That I just don't feel like that's earned, or it's not earned.
LeBron James also had some strong comments for the commissioner, tweeting out how he would be irate under similar circumstances and calling out Manfred to fix the situation for the sake of sports. So, Stephen A., how should baseball fix this controversy?
It's very, very simple. I've been saying it from day one, and I'll say it again. The commissioner and Major League Baseball should fly to Houston, remove that championship, that World Series championship in 2017 from the Astros facility. They should demand that each player on that team, everyone affiliated with that team, return their championship rings. That's what you should do. You obviously granted the players immunity because you wanted to get to the heart of what transpired, okay? So you granted them immunity. Guess what that means? That means they would not be suspended, and that means they'd have an opportunity to get back on the field this season and compete for a championship, okay? And they got paid. So they're getting paid, they're still able to play with no suspensions, and they're able to compete for the championship, all right? That's immunity for the players. Okay, what does that have to do with recognizing them as champions? You can confiscate that championship trophy. You can ask those championship rings to be returned. And if you're the players, I want Major League Baseball players to listen to me right here, right now. Put me on the damn camera, please. I don't want to see no highlights right now. Let me tell you something. Here's how you do this. You don't throw a 95-mile-per-hour fastball at somebody. You don't sit up there and hit them with pitches. You don't do all of that. All you have to do as players to shame the Houston Astros, you don't shake their hands, you don't communicate with them. Hell, you can start every Major League Baseball game against the Houston Astros as a team turning your back to that franchise. With the cameras rolling, before every single game, you can sit up there. We've seen people engage in symbolic gestures throughout the years to bring attention to something. You could do that this way. Just turn your back to them. And even if it's just for a few seconds before the start of every game, just to remind you, announce before the season starts, this is how we're going to treat them. They cheated the game. They cheated players. They cheated their contemporaries. They cheated the integrity of the game. That's all you got to do. This is not complicated. You don't have to engage in any kind of violence, invoke any kind of physical harm or anything like that. But you can engage in gestures to highlight and keep the attention on the fact that they cheated for the entire damn season. That's all you have to do. You turn your back to them before the start of every game. All right? You ain't got anything to say to them. You go out there and you compete with them, but you do something every game for 162 games for the season to remind everybody they cheated. Outside of that, you take that championship trophy and you have those rings returned. It's very, very simple. It is not complicated. I don't understand how the commissioner is trying to make it out to be complicated. I like Manfred, and I appreciate his apology. I think that was big of him to do that. But in the end, he mishandled this because he didn't take back the championship trophies and he didn't take back the championship rings, Max.
Got a couple things to say here. Number one, I resisted calling for the championship to be taken away. I think it's silly. Those events actually occurred, even if they were ill-gotten goods. And furthermore, as Manfred and others have said, that's a slippery slope. So early on, when you're still trying to contextualize everything, I think discretion is the better part of valor. I'm starting to come around to your way of thinking about this in terms of vacating the championship. Should have gone to either the Dodgers or the Yankees. The reason is there are some thresholds that need to be met first. Did the cheating, because then you could go back and look at every cheating scandal. Hey, I heard that this team was stealing signs in the 1970 whatever World Series. I heard in the 60s that, okay. Did the cheating affect the outcome? Obviously, yes. Astros players who are claiming it doesn't are either deluded or stupid, or they're lying. Because obviously, look at the home road splits, dummies. Are you joking? You have to be deluded not to believe that because you want the championship so bad. And I'm reacting now to the kind of arrogance coming out of the Astros organization. Or you're not telling the truth. Stephen A., Giancarlo Stanton said today, or yesterday, that if he knew it was coming the year he hit 59 home runs, he'd hit 80 home runs. You see Aaron Judge's reaction. The players are coming out and saying, baseball players, whoa, these guys cheated us. In other words, it meets the criteria. It rises to the threshold of they won because. Not saying the Astros aren't very good players and they had a great team and maybe they could have even won, though I doubt it based on the way things turned out, without cheating. Yankees were beating the brakes off them at Yankee Stadium. Astros were only winning on the road at their place. But so that's number one. I think,
How would you resolve it? How would you resolve it?
I'm leaning towards taking the championship away. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.